It's very rare to see a comic book movie, hence a Marvel movie, released on a January. This movie in particular not only came out on a January, but it came out on my exact birthday, January 14, 2005, my 1 year old birthday. Interesting, alright? Yeah. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I am going to be doing a review on Elektra. So Elektra is a spin-off to Daredevil, the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. And it came out in the year 2005, which, I just said the date, January 14, 2005. And it's directed by Rob Bowman. And it stars Jennifer Garner, Goran Visnig, Will Yun Lee, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, Terrence Stamp, Natasha Malth, Kristen Zien, Colin Cunningham, Chris Ackerman, Bob Snap, Mark Houston, Hiro Kanagawa, Laura Ward, Ian Tracy, etc. And so the film tells the story of Elektra, the warrior who works for this organization called the Hand, who survives a near-death experience. Like, she basically dies for for a few minutes, and then suddenly goes back to life, and then now she becomes she becomes an assassin for hire, and now she's being used to slaughter someone. And she was being used now to slaughter her that she now, and now her two latest targets are actually people that she bonded with, Mark and Abby Miller. And so apparently the Hand wants to get rid of them, and so as when Elektra refuses to kill them, it already implies that Elektra betrays the Hand, and so a whole gang comes to get Mark and Abby, and so Elektra must fight the goons of the Hand and pretty much stop them from trying to assassinate and protect them. So now if you guys are wondering why I'm reviewing this movie, yes guys, I'm actually reviewing this movie leading up as a part of my reviews leading up to Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, sure, it's not quite an X-Men film, but it is still a Fox Marvel film. The reason why I'm reviewing this movie is because Elektra is going to be a character in Deadpool Wolverine. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a cameo or a big major character, but regardless, she's still in the movie. And I was actually very curious to rewatch this one. Now, as for my thoughts on Daredevil, this movie's a predecessor. I hate it. I think it's a pile of shit. It's honestly just extremely boring. It tries way too hard to be grounded, but honestly, I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't care. Ben Affleck feels very miscast as Daredevil. I actually think he's far and away better as Batman than Batman in the DCU than Daredevil. And it's just boring and very forgettable. I just couldn't care less about it. But by far the best part of Daredevil and the standard of Daredevil is Elektra. And so 2 years later, but technically 1.5, I'm not sure, depending on when exactly Daredevil released, we got a spin-off to Elektra, which pissed off a lot of people because Elektra is it is a character that everybody hates. Even the people who like Daredevil would say that Elektra sucks. Does that make sense? But I certainly disagree. And so Elektra is one of the most hated comic book movies of all time. Yeah, if you thought the female-led comic book movies today are hated, they are very polarizing, and they have a lot of they tend to have a lot of controversy. But but like female-led comic book movies back in the 2000s, woo, wow, yeah, they have even bigger hits. Not worse because yes, I certainly don't think they're as good as the female-led movie superhero movies we get today. You know, like Wonder Woman, the Marvels, like and female-led the Marvel superhero shows as well, like Hawkeye, Echo, those ones. Yeah, so and a year before this one, we got the Catwoman. We got I forgot to mention as well in the list of good female led superhero movies. Black Widow. That's a great one as well. Very underrated. But yeah, Catwoman. Yeah. Honestly, I think Catwoman is quite possibly my least favorite superhero female-led superhero movie of all time. It is just it is just pure shit. Halle Berry, like you're better off playing Storm than Catwoman. Catwoman is a pile of shit, and it's not even so bad as good movie. Unlike what people say, it is just a straight up bad movie disaster. Thankfully, it's not the worst movie in 2004. I take it any day over Mulan 2 and Home and Rage, but Catwoman certainly deserves to be hated because if you think that the female-led superhero movies today are bad, oh boy, wait till you see Catwoman. Wait till you see that. Catwoman is far worse than any of the female-led comic book movies that y'all just love to give some unnecessary controversy to. Now with Elektra, this one in particular, it's one of those films I had no opinion on when I first saw it many years ago. I think I was a little younger at the time when my dad showed me. Past 10 years old, that's the best I remember. Past 10 years old, but I didn't really have an opinion on it. I was like, whatever. That was my reaction. I didn't like or dislike it by any means. But when I became a critic and hearing about this movie being in the conversation as one of the worst comic book movies of all time, I decided to just say I hate it and jump on the hate bandwagon just because of that. But for some reason I kind of got excited when they announced that she's going to be in Dapple Wolverine. Like when they announced it, I was like, oh wow, I like this idea. And then when the moment I heard the announcement, I kind of reflected on this film and I was like asking myself, is it really that bad? Is it really? Is it really that bad? And I actually don't hear people talk about this anymore as when it comes to naming the worst comic book movies. And people still and keep in mind, people still talk about how their hate for Catwoman, but they don't really talk about their hate for this that much anymore. I actually only recently found out that this movie came out on my birthday, which was very interesting. And so I had the pleasure of rewatching this because it's on Max, I gotta say, call me biased since this movie came out on my birthday, but I actually don't think it's that bad by any means. In fact, it's actually a passable movie. I think this movie gets far too much hate. And it is far better than Daredevil 2003. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's not a good or well-made film by any means. But it's not bad either. I think it's more of a middle-of-the-road film. It's actually more lean towards decent. Like, it's more of a middle-of-the-road film overall, but I'm actually leaning more into slightly positive territory than a negative territory, It's certainly not one of the worst superhero movies. How the fuck is this movie, does this movie have a lower rating than Morbius? Morbius is the worst Marvel movie ever. Ever. Morbius is by far and away the worst Marvel movie. Thankfully, it's higher than Fantastic Four at least. But even Madam Web is higher than this film. I'm not the biggest Madam Web hater, but it does not deserve to be higher than this film whatsoever. whatsoever. Yeah, Elektra is basically the room of Marvel movies where I acknowledge it as a poorly made piece of shit, but it's done in a way that I like it. It's the film is horribly directed and edited. The shaky cam, it didn't really bother me that much. Yes, there is shaky cam, but it wasn't really like pissing me off like Michael Bay's movies. But it is yeah, the slow mo shots were far too ridiculous, out to the point where it got annoying. The pacing can meander at times. Yeah, there are some slow moments, but it's not quite as boring as people say it is. I didn't get bored that much. Yeah, there is this forced romance between Elektra and Mark Willard that came out of nowhere. There is not enough development for them to be in love because they were just there. They were just together, but they didn't share chemistry. It was just Elektra and Alma. It seems like Elektra only like fell in love with Mark and probably marry him. Yeah, just because of Elektra's chemistry with Alma, because like they both have like this one thing in common since they're both technically warriors. This movie has some of the most some of the blandest and most forgettable, comic book villains of all time. I don't even remember the villain's name at all. Like as in the main villain. The only thing memorable about the villains is the fact that their organization is called the Hand. But it's mainly because of the Netflix Marvel shows. I mean, I don't even like them that much in like the Netflix Marvel shows. I think the Hand is decent. I mean, depending on who's running it, I think the Meacham. I think the Meacham families they're like decent members. But then you get someone like Sigourney Weaver who absolutely sucks as Alexandra. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Like yeah. If it wasn't for the Netflix Marvel shows, I wouldn't have even remembered this organization by name. Oh, and the visuals do certainly look obviously outdated. It looks so obvious. But that's all my flaws for the film. But now let's get into what exactly I liked about this film. Yeah, as Marvel's very first female-led film, they did a pretty solid job of kicking things off for this world of female-led films. So it's certainly like what I said. It's certainly a much better female-led 2000s comic book film than Catwoman for damn sure. And yeah, and like what I said, despite my disdain for Daredevil 2003, Elektra was the best part of the film, and so a spin-off to her character is well deserved. And yeah, and I gotta say, Elektra is probably great. Is great, if not probably even better than she was before. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think Jennifer Garner is that great of an actress, especially when both of her movies are just these shitty ass family comedy movies. Ugh. But when it comes to but Jennifer Garner does have some pretty solid dramas. My favorite Jennifer Garner movie would be Juno, one of my absolute favorite movies of 2007, and quite possibly my favorite Fox Searchlight Pictures movie, On Reflection. Yeah, it's either that or Black Swan. I'll have to think about it, but yeah, Elektra is honestly one of Jennifer Garner's better movies in my opinion. This is for sure one of her better roles. And she literally just feels so perfect for she's just so fitting, and honestly, I prefer her over the Netflix Netflix version of her played by Elodie Young. Yeah, there I said it. They do a good job. The writers do a good job of giving her a solid arc and making her a total badass. Plus, she is pretty sexy as well. Yeah, my favorite character in the film would have to be a tie between Elektra and Alma. I mean, Elektra is freaking Elektra, but Alma is just wow. I mean, maybe I might even have to give the slight edge to Alma, honestly. We'll see. Alma is such a great character, and the fact that she's a badass is well deserved. It's really surprising to see her be a badass despite where she started when the audiences were first introduced to her character. And if you can ignore the unnecessary slow-mo shots in them, the action scenes kick so much ass, especially in the forest fight and the cloth fight. I mean, the cloth fight, like, like you gotta admit though, the claw fight is really good, but the forest fight is my personal favorite. Yeah, my personal favorite scene in this entire movie was when Elektra was being chased by this bear, and this bear tried to attack him, but Alma saved Elektra's life by like literally whipping the bear, and the bear dies. Yeah, that I was like, damn, Alma's a badass. Like she was a warrior this whole time. Yeah, that reveal was pretty sick. Not gonna lie. Now as for my thoughts on the story, since I haven't talked about the writing yet, it's fine. It's not a bad story, not as bad as people say this, but it's just not really. Yeah, it's just nothing really to write home about. The whole plot line about Elektra facing a near death experience, and then actually becoming an assassin, hired assassin, like is actually a pretty solid storyline to take her. And the idea of Alma trying to protect the targets that she was supposed to assassinate is actually a pretty good plot line. However, there are some plot holes to there are some major contrivances and plot holes, like why out of all the people to assassinate, why that family, the father and daughter, Mark and Alma, why um yeah, why them, honestly, like, yeah, seriously, why? Is it because Alma is a warrior? I don't know, but they didn't really explain it. And there's like so much plot holes going on and all that stuff. And it did feel a little bit rushed, in my opinion. Yeah, I could have taken a better road. Like maybe Elektra could have maybe the family could have caught Elektra attempting to assassinate them, but Elektra misses. And then both the father and daughter, Mark and Alma and Elektra have this beef together. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean by beef, not literally the food. Like, and then and then they when Elektra tries to protect them, the family wouldn't believe this since Elektra tried to kill them and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, that would have been a much better storyline. So overall, while Elektra is not a very well made film by any means, it is poorly filmed and edited and all that stuff. It's a harmless street level comic book film that is able to embrace its cheesiness, and it's certainly an overhated film. It's nowhere near the worst movie of 2005. The worst movie of 2005 would go to Chicken Little, and although thankfully I don't hear anybody say this is their worst movie of 2005 because Son of the Mask exists. That's like the majority's pick for worst movie 2005. But to me personally, Chicken Little is my least favorite movie of 2005. Yeah. And I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like this is a film that you should give a chance to, or at least I hope that somehow there are some people who would like this film. I probably assume Harry Thomas likes this movie. I'd be shocked if he hates it, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, what he says in the comment below. Yeah, and I'm actually really excited to see Elektra and Devil Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, not the best movie for her, but at least they freaking nailed the character and actress. So with that said, I'm going to give Elektra a 3 stars out of 5. All rights movie. Yeah, I actually say it's a very high 3 out of 5, like very close to getting a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, I'm much more positive for this one. So also for my review of Elektra, what are your thoughts on the film? Do you agree with me that Elektra is not that bad of a movie? Despite it being not very good either. Do you actually like Elektra, or are you a part of the hate bandwagon for this movie? And are you excited to see Elektra in Deadpool and Wolverine, regardless if you like her or hate her? Yeah, well, even though you hate the movie, you gotta admit, at least Jennifer Garner as Elektra was a strong point, and to an extent, also Alma's character. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my rant on X-Men Origins Wolverine. Oh, yeah. Yep, now we're getting into the Wolverine and Deadpool solo films in preparation for Deadpool Wolverine. So yeah, bye guys.